Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech News Weekly. I'm your host, Andrew Zarin. Of course, I'm joined by John Bub. How you doing, John?
Hey, Andrew. What's up?
Not bad. Your video looks phenomenal.
Oh, good.
It looks really good. I have to tell you, I'm very impressed. I just saw it. I know you're complaining.
There's parts that I don't like, but...
I know, but you're also wearing a white shirt, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
But it looks really good. Did you change anything since the last time we did the show with the lighting?
I've changed some of the lighting, yeah.
You also got a... You also did something
Acoustic
with...
blanket.
Yeah, you did acoustic blankets on the side, across.
I don't know
from
if you can really tell, though, so...
A little bit. I could tell a little bit.
I mean, I can pull it back and see if it makes any difference.
Nah, it's fine.
Not having it there.
No, I think you sound great. I think you look great. I'm excited to do the show today, guys. You guys have been under a rock for the last couple months. Windows 10, July 29th. July 29th came, and July 29th went, and where do we begin with this, John? Because we both had experiences. We know we know based on how you are, you don't really like change.
No.
So you disliking something is the automatic natural reaction I anticipate whenever there's something new.
I'm highly critical.
You are highly critical, so automatically I already know you have your issues. But you have very specific issues, much like me.
Yes.
I have had two totally separate experiences with Windows 10. One was absolutely seamless, with no problems, no issues, nothing. And the other experience was me coming up with a new catchphrase from Microsoft. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's Windows. It's impossible. Windows. It's impossible. That would have summed up my 36 hours of trying to install Windows 10.
Some people would agree with you on that.
Yeah. Now I have Windows 10 running here, which is on a production machine, which I know they say it's a big no-no, but you know what? I am a risk taker, John, and here it is. This is Windows 10. I have modified some stuff, if you notice.
Now, see, you've activated yours.
I have activated mine. I have modified some stuff. I haven't really played with this. I'm going to create tiles that are kind of for what I need it to do. But I have, if you see, it's not a double box here. There's another piece here that I removed. I'm doing the smaller bar here on the bottom, the smaller taskbar. I've disabled online search. I actually went into, I know Paul is going to think I'm insane for doing this, but I've gone into like Regedit. I've gone into services. I've gone into some administrative service panels, and I've shut down a lot of things. A ton of things. And I have a reason to do that. I'm not acting like a crazy, old school Windows 98 guy that I'm going to shut off,
But you are crazy.
I am crazy, but I'm not. There are just reasons on why I'm doing this. Like, I shut down Windows Defender. Mm-hmm. Why? Because this computer does not connect to anything other than it does what it does in the studio. I'm not going to any unprotected networks. I remove Windows Defender because there is a program within Windows Defender. It's like a malware protection thing. And the thing was sucking up 10% CPU resources at all times. I don't know if that's a bug, or I don't know if that's because I'm running this on an older AMD A6 processor.
Maybe both.
It's probably both. I turned off a lot of these services because even if it takes, a percent here, a percent there, it means a lot when it's on a slower CPU. So I had to do it to kind of get it to run the way that I want it to run. I had an awful experience doing a clean install on this. So I know you did a Windows update. Did you do a clean install, or did you just just put it over?
It was a clean install. It's in a virtual machine because I don't actually want to install it on my main computer yet because there's several issues that I have with Windows still that may never ever be resolved. So that's not something that I'm ready to do just yet. But I wanted to check it out and get a feel for it. So I did it in a virtual machine.
Okay. Which, by the way, you're going to have a different experience because you are in a virtual machine. It's not going to be as effective.
To a degree, yes. And, I'm taking that into account, so I can't talk about the speed increases or performance of it, which wasn't really my reason for wanting to check out Windows 10. And I've talked to some other people that have Windows 10 installed. They went from Windows 8 to Windows 10, and they said that Windows 10 is so much better than Windows 8. They say it's faster, it performs better, and doesn't crash as often.
Yeah.
And applications just everything works better for them in Windows 10 than it did with Windows 8.
I do notice that application startups are a little bit better. Windows startup is tremendous, especially if you're on an SSD. My problem was with my Axia audio drivers.
But that's a very special
thing. But here's
you're talking
the thing.
about
with let's say uncertified applications, right? If the certification had expired, it would prompt you, through the I guess the security thing. It would prompt you and say, are you sure you want to start this? And you would say, yes, I would like to start it. It doesn't even give you that option now. What it does, it'll actually block the application from starting entirely. You have to go right-click on it and click unblock.
Let me ask you,
yeah.
Are you using Home or Pro? Pro.
Yeah, and thank God I'm using Pro because I have access to all these admin settings. On Home, you do not have access to these admin settings.
And even Enterprise has even more options than Pro.
Yeah, but
I'm wondering if that's either an issue, if you can do that with Pro or if you can do that with Enterprise, where you can change that behavior.
That is interesting. When is the Enterprise version launched? And who qualifies for Enterprise? Because I would not. I didn't even consider that.
I don't know, but I know that Enterprise has more options than even Pro does. Because you can go into the group policy editor and change things.
And that's what I did do.
In the group policy editor that only can be changed if you're an Enterprise. I forget what the setting was that I was looking at, but in Home it can only be set to basic, but in Pro it can be set to something else, and in Enterprise you can completely disable certain things. So I'm wondering if that's something that you can do in Enterprise where you can completely disable that.
Yeah, if you guys how do I get Enterprise? I would not mind using Enterprise. I can find out.
But yeah, my main reason for wanting to check out Windows 10 was the start menu, because that was one of my biggest things with Windows 8 is that start screen just did absolutely nothing for me. I have absolutely no reason to want an entire separate screen every time I hit the start button. Yeah, I don't want to be taken off an entirely separate screen and disrupt my workflow, because I'm a multitasker. I have lots of things going on at any given time, and I don't want to be taken to a separate screen that's going to screw with my workflow. That to me mentally screws out my head and my workflow and what I'm doing, which is why I'm much more akin to Windows 10 and the new start menu, which I still have problems with.
I actually really, really like the new start menu. The fact that I could customize those, they have those live tiles there, and the fact that I could customize it.
You could do that in Windows 8.
You can, but you don't have a start button. You don't have a start screen where it's, kind of before, like you could click on File Explorer, you could click on all programs. Let me just actually go there. There you go. You click on all programs. So here are all the programs that I have installed. I can remove stuff.
Wait, there's a bug in that. I don't know if you saw this. There's a bug in the
it says
start menu.
It says that it's Windows 8.
No. When they developed Windows 10, whoever was a brilliant coder for this limited it to 512 apps.
Are you? Who's going to have
more? If
you
have more than 512 applications installed on your computer, they will not show up.
Who will have more than 512 applications?
I mean, I know that's a lot.
But why 512? That's a funny number.
There are people out there that have more than 512 applications.
I guess so. I think there's more.
I mean,
of a
that is
problem.
an oversight for them to limit it at some arbitrary number like 512.
Yeah, why 512? Wi-Fi. I disabled Cortana, which I'm never.
Yeah, I disabled like the web searching stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I'm searching for stuff, I'll go to Google for that stuff. I'll use my web browser. I don't need web results in my search results when I'm looking for stuff on my computer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what I want to do is search my computer. I don't want the majority of my search results when I hit start or use this integrated search be web results. I just don't. So I turned all that stuff, which is nice that you can at least turn it off. But one of the problems I had was it took like 30, 40 minutes for certain things to show up.
Yeah, so
Like
it has
one
to
of my main
compile
things that
it.
I do is I like to quickly hit the start button, start typing the name of an application to bring it up, so I don't have to search for it or anything. And for whatever reason, it took like 30 or 40 minutes for the start menu to start doing that. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but for example, I would hit start and type Firefox to start looking for Mozilla Firefox.
Yeah,
And it would not do that for 30 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, I had I had that problem. I was like, this is weird. Where is the application? It's not coming up. And then I realized that it takes a little bit to compile. Most people are not going to even realize that.
But still, even now, it's still not working quite right. For example, I tried out the iHeartRadio application. So I want to find the iHeartRadio application, but you have to start typing the name of the application starting with the first letter. So, for example, iHeartRadio, if you start typing heart instead of iHeart,
it won't come up.
It won't come up.
Yeah.
You have to start IHE, it'll come up. But if you start typing HEA, it won't come up.
Yeah, I mean those are little things. I think that they're gonna fix that, and that's what they mean, that it's constantly evolving and they're constantly fixing. That'll probably be a quick little bug fix for the search to compile.
I mean, there's a lot more I wanted to try, but because I'm not necessarily willing to give up my Windows 7 key just yet, I just want to try things out. I want to see if, because I was somebody that really did not like Windows 8 and the start menu in Windows 8, and even when they brought it back, I still wasn't crazy about it. I wanted to see how Windows 10 can customize the start menu. But unfortunately, I can't do anything because you have to activate Windows 10 before you can customize anything in the Windows start menu. If you want to change the background on the desktop, if you want to change what's shown in the start menu other than what's pinned to the start menu, you have to activate Windows 10. And I'm just not ready to do that yet. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that, as somebody that did not like Windows 8, and especially the start screen and the new start menu in Windows 8.1, that I wanted to check out, but can't because I don't want to activate.
Well, you don't lose your activation.
I'm still not convinced of that.
Okay.
I'm just not convinced. And because I have all these other issues that in most...
Because remember, most keys
won't ever be resolved. For example,
allow you to install on more than one machine. Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Most keys allow you to install on more than one machine. You could do up to 2 machines.
Yeah, I have Windows 7 Ultimate.
Yeah, so you have the same thing that I do.
I have multiple computers running Windows 7 Ultimate with the same key.
All right, so do I.
And I don't want to jeopardize anything happening.
I guess I'll be your guinea pig, right?
Sure.
Let's see what happens in another 20-something days. When I get that prompt saying all your keys are...
My big issue, though, is Windows Media Center. I have Windows Media Center. I use it for live TV and recording live TV. But there's no Windows Media Center in Windows 10, so...
So let's talk about... There was a story that came out this week. What was that story that Windows Media Center may not be dead?
Oh, this is such a freaking BS story because everybody's making it out to be something bigger than it is. And to me... For the diehard Windows Media Center users, this means absolutely crap. Apparently, Microsoft went back a little bit and said, "All right, we'll do a little bit of a mea culpa. We'll give in a little bit to you, Windows Media Center people, and we'll have an application for you guys." What it turns out to be is a standalone Windows DVD player, because they said, "Oh, majority of the Windows Media Center users only use it for playing DVDs." So we're going to have a standalone DVD player.
A DVD player?
Yes, because without Windows Media Center on there,
you can't play it.
And they removed the DVD capability. They said, "Oh, you can just download other applications that have DVD support," which is perfectly fine with me. There's VLC, there's Media Player Classic, there's a whole dozen applications that you can get that have DVD support. To me, that's not even an issue. My issue is Windows Media Center and live TV support. There's no replacing that. There just isn't. There are other alternatives out there, but none of them work nearly as well as Windows Media Center does.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to feel that way, but what's going to happen in the next 2-3 years? You know, that's the issue for you guys.
Yeah, and I know I'm still in a minority with that, but it's one of those things where there just really is not a viable alternative.
There's nothing. There's nothing at all. Like, what are your options other than Media Center if you want to do this right now?
There's an application called Media Portal, and there's one called Next PVR, but neither one of them are very good. Neither one of them are as stable as Windows Media Center. None of them are as integrated and easy to use as Windows Media Center. Neither one of them have the same capabilities that you would find necessarily with Windows Media Center. For example, I use Server WMC to extend my Windows Media Center to other devices.
So what devices do you put it on, for example? I'm curious. I'm really fascinated by you Media Center people.
Well, Fire TV. I have Fire TV on there with Kodi, and I use Server WMC to get the Windows Media Center stuff over to my Fire TV. And it works really well.
Yeah.
There are other applications out there. I have an HD Home Run Prime, and Silicon does make an application that works with Kodi. However, I don't find that it works nearly as well. It's a lot more bandwidth intensive, a lot more processor intensive, and it just does not have the same speed and quickness that I would find using it the way that I have it set up now with Server WMC.
Yeah.
Not only that, but one of my biggest complaints is the fact that in HD Home Run Prime, with all the settings that you have and their own software, unlike Windows Media Center, in Windows Media Center, you can customize the channel lineup to show only the channels that you're interested in.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I don't want to see any of the SD channels, I can disable all the SD channels, so that when I'm scrolling through the channel guide, I don't have to see them.
Yeah, you know what? That's been something that I've wanted. I've wanted that with cable for the longest time. Time Warner Cable allows you to do that. Cablevision, Verizon kind of half-assingly does it now, where they allow you to kind of disable the SD channels.
Yeah.
Like if I put on channel 5, I want my TV to go to 505, which is the HD version. There's no reason why I should even want to watch SD on an HD box with an HD TV.
Yeah.
But these boxes are not smart enough. So
but it's not only that. See, on Comcast, we have SD, and we also have 2 layers of HD channels. So, for example, let's say that USA is channel 195 in HD, but it's also channel 1205 in HD.
Why?
No idea.
Are they
absolutely no idea why they do that?
We have that also, and I've realized that it's like channel 1252 will be just like.
So then you end up with like 400 or 500 different channels, when really it's only about 150 channels that you really are interested in. And I don't want to scroll through all 500 channels when I'm going through a freaking channel guide. I just don't.
That's interesting.
So, and I can only do that with Windows Media Center.
So you wouldn't, an Xbox would not do this, right? But like, if you could do recording of cable channels on an Xbox, would you want to go over to an Xbox?
No.
You want your Media Center?
Because I don't sit in front of a TV. I don't use a TV.
Well, you could connect it to a computer.
The only TV I have is in my bedroom with the Fire TV.
Yeah.
For when I'm watching TV in bed. That's the only time I'm actually in front of a TV.
Yeah, you like
every
watching
other time I'm sitting at my computer, and I want everything to work with my computer.
That's awesome.
Xbox doesn't do that, does it?
Yeah, you can sit in front of your computer.
Yeah, it doesn't work the right way, though.
Yeah, it's not for you. Listen, I understand that. Whatever works for you, works for you. It's disappointing that support is gone, but and
then there's other little things in Windows 10 that I think they'll figure out over time, but currently just they don't have it set up right. For example, setting default apps is a lot trickier now. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you're like trying to set a different application as the default application for something, such as your web browser, that's a little bit trickier now.
Yeah. I think overall they did a great job with this, with Windows 10. If I pull it up here.
Yeah, I'm hoping over the next, 3-4 months they'll figure out some of these things.
And again, Paul had mentioned that this was, and we spoke about it on What the Tech, this release is not the Windows that they had envisioned. There's another wave coming in October, and that is the version of Windows 10 that they envisioned. They took many things out of this. They kind of patched this together quickly to meet back to school deadline. And I understand that. A lot of these PCs, by the way, guys, if you're looking to buy a Windows 10 PC, which many of you are, I'm one of these people. I'm on an older machine. I'm missing hello. I'm missing a lot of gesturing. And in order to get the real feel of this and to get the full potential of what Windows is, you need to be on something. You need to be on something that's a little bit more modern. And a 5-year-old laptop, unfortunately, is not modern enough. You're not going to get the best experience. So I'm in the market for a new laptop. You know what I'm doing? I'm waiting. I'm not.
I'm gonna tell you this though.
Yeah.
I think Windows 10 is definitely a much bigger success than Windows 8
Already.
ever will be.
Yeah.
I think that's extremely evident by the news coverage of Windows 10. Because I don't feel like there's been as big of a buzz surrounding Windows 10 as there was with Windows 8. Because the entire development cycle and even the launch and after the launch, Windows 8 was always in the news. Most of it was negative, but it was always in the news. Whereas with Windows 10, it's been relegated to mostly a technical news story. I mean, yes, you'll hear it on the mainstream news, but you'll hear it as, oh, well, Microsoft launched their new version of Windows today and blah, 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 blah. This is what's different, and that's it. Whereas with Windows 8, there was basically nonstop coverage wherever you went on mainstream news, on blogs, on the internet, and much of it was negative, whereas I'm just not seeing the same thing with Windows 10.
Yeah, no, it's very positive. It's guys, if you have not experienced it and you have a secondary machine that you really don't care about, playing around with, the odds are you're not going to have any issues. I'm one of these few people that uses a very specific thing for very specific reasons, and I have it. But overall, I will say that this is a major success. If we were talking about the lineage of Windows and the continuation of what Windows was, we went from XP to Vista to 7, and 7 was an overall success. I mean, unanimously, everybody said it was a much better operating system. I can't see, other than reasons like John, where Media Center, for example, is a problem, or some weird driver issue for me that will be eventually fixed. I can't see anybody saying this is not good or 8 was better. This is a much better operating system.
Unanimous that Windows 10 is better than Windows 8.
It's absolutely.
I mean, you talk to anybody that even had issues with Windows 8, they'll tell you that Windows 10 is much better. And I took the liberty of asking some people yesterday about that.
I don't know how you could say it's not better. I saw some comments from people saying that they're going to stick to 8.1. Listen, if you like 8.1, that's great. I don't know. Maybe I didn't use 8.1 long enough to know what 8.1 is doing that 7 won't, that 10 won't, I should say. But this is a much better complete operating system.
All you're looking is for the start screen. You can completely enable it so that when you hit the start button, it goes to the entire screen.
Why would you want to? So I have to.
I don't understand why you would stick with Windows 8.1.
So here's the Edge browser, by the way. And it's okay. It's better than Firefox, I'll tell you that. I'm sorry, it's better than IE, even though it kind of is IE. It's a little plain. You don't have plugins. You don't have extensions. And it's a tiny bit of a resource hog, but I know that this is going to be something that they're going to work on and they're going to kind of change.
I have absolutely no opinion on this whatsoever right now.
Fine.
I just haven't used it long enough. I haven't been around it long enough to form a valid opinion other than it's a capable browser. It opens up pages, so...
Yeah. I haven't really played around with the Mail app. I've heard some issues
There's
about the
a lot of
Mail app.
applications that I just don't care about.
Groove is another one that I haven't really spent time with. Photos I haven't spent...
The TV and movies application.
Yeah, I'm going to spend
I understand
some time
it's
with
there.
But...
I mean, part of what's confusing to me is their move to an app first experience in a way.
I like the floating windows.
Where it's much the same as a phone, like you would find on a phone, the same experience. They want you to have an application.
Yeah, so here's an example of this. So here's a Money app, and this is a floating window, right? This is a modern application within desktop.
It's okay, but I'm not necessarily sure that it fits on a desktop in the sense that it doesn't feel like it makes sense.
Yeah, because why would you
And a
open this
perfect
if you have?
example of this is the Twitter application.
I haven't installed it yet.
Twitter made a new application specifically for Windows 10, and I have absolutely no use for it. And I think it's a poorly designed application that is so simple that it's something that you would find on a kid's phone. It does so few things. All it does is it'll bring up your timeline, your replies, your direct messages, and let you compose a tweet. That's about it.
But don't you think that's enough for most people?
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, there's going to be power users out there that want more than that.
Yeah, but I mean,
And just the way they designed it and the scale of things, I think, is off too. It's just the way that they make use of the scale and the empty space just does not feel right. It feels more like something you would see on a phone that's built for touch and touching, but it's really not.
yeah.
It's on a desktop, so
I mean, these are tiny little things that they're gonna tweak, obviously. Like the action center is pretty cool. I kind of like that it's giving me all this information here and telling me, you know, what's going on. I could clear it out. The brightness, everything. So there's a lot of settings here, a ton of settings, a ton of great features. Maybe, you know what, over the next couple of weeks we'll do like a tip or something as we discover some of these things, and the more that we use it.
yeah, like not using a public network.
Yeah, so that's actually that's a good one to do, and I'll talk about that now. So
And I had that same issue. By the way.
you did. Okay, so it's not something I screwed up. Okay.
No, it's the way that when you first connect to the internet, that they do it in such a way that, especially if you're not really paying attention to the way it's labeled, you end up setting your network type as public and not private.
Yeah. So to kind of go into detail, what this is, if you have Windows 10 on a laptop and you're using Wi-Fi to connect, if you go into your network settings, you will notice that it is considering that it says that you're on a public network. The reason why it does that is because it sets up all these security measures, and obviously you're going to have higher security if you are on a public network than you were on a private network. So for whatever reason, Windows decides, even though it's putting all these security measures, right? Like it's telling you that
it's
you
also
can't
very
share.
easy to mistakenly set it up as a public network.
Well, I didn't set up no, but here's the thing: it automatically set me up as a public network.
That is so weird.
Yeah. So you could go into, it's the same thing: control panel, shared, whatever. When I set my network up, I didn't do anything remotely different than just saying, okay, put in your Wi-Fi key. I put in my Wi-Fi, and that was it. I didn't touch anything. It automatically creates puts the security to like 100%. And part of that is that it will make you a public network. Like if you notice here, my Axia is on a public network, but it doesn't matter because I turned everything off. There's no way to turn this off. I got to figure out how to turn this off, actually, because this still says public network, and it says that on Windows 7. And I'm curious if that's
I looked
affecting
that up the other day, and I'll have to send you the link for how to do that.
on a secondary network.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there's a place that you have to go to and do something. If you go through like the network troubleshooter or something, and it tells you something about file sharing is turned off, turn it on, and there's some steps you can do.
okay, because this, I'm curious if that may be attributing to some issues that I have with my Axia system. I gotta ask Kirk on that. But to kind of go here, where are we? Here we go. It sets it to a private network, and that's crazy. Public network, so that's crazy. So what I have to do, I have to turn home group on. If I turn home
if you go through
group
the
on,
home group troubleshooter,
it'll turn it off. It'll actually make you a private network.
yeah.
The reason why this is a big deal, guys, is because there is a glitch where it goes into limited access mode every now and then, like every couple minutes or every hour. You know, I don't know the exact time frame, but I noticed it a couple times when I was working here, and I told Paul. Paul goes, "Huh, that's interesting," because I had that happen on my wife's computer, and he did it live on the air. It could have been I thought it maybe was a fluke that I did that. I could have been having network troubles, and it's not. It's actually an issue, and setting it to a private network corrected it. So if you have noticed an issue, I do recommend setting it to a private network because you don't need, if you're not on a public network, you don't need to be set to a private network, public network. The other issue that I've noticed is that my Wi-Fi speed is not that great.
Huh.
And I'm right by the router. Here is the router, right? You see it right there? Here's the laptop right here. There's no reason why I should be getting half speed. And it
Maybe
shows
there's an issue with the driver.
There could be an issue with the driver. It says that it's set to 72 megabits a second, or 72 megabytes a second, instead of 100.
Yeah, see, that's not set up correctly then.
Yeah,
that's way low. That's
So
that's like wireless G speeds.
So look at that. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's awful.
72, and it shows 4 bars and now 5 bars. The signal quality. So I don't know if I could do anything to the signal to make it stronger. I got to look into that. But that's
check the manufacturer and see if they have a Windows 10 driver.
Yeah, you know what? That's a very good question. They have it for Ethernet. They do not have it for the Wi-Fi yet. I did not see it on the manufacturer's website. So again, these are little issues that we're going to have.
Oh yeah, I mean they're all little issues that for the most part can be resolved over the next few months.
Which they will be. Probably in the next couple of weeks they're going to resolve
except for
it.
Windows Media Center.
God, jeez, that Media Center.
Well, look, their solution for those people that were Windows Media Center holdouts was to put in a standalone DVD application.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that gives a crap about playing DVDs when it comes to Windows Media Center.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Someone may have some pull there and change something. So enough with the Windows 10 stuff. And again, guys, this is going to be a major part in what we're doing the next couple of weeks because this is a major thing. 14 million people already adopted it, I think. It's one of the most successful launches that Microsoft has ever had for an operating system.
I wonder how they're calculating that, by the way.
Probably downloads or probably activations. Activations.
Because if that's activations, that's one thing. I mean, is that just how many times it was downloaded, how many times it was installed?
I believe that's activations.
I mean, if that's how many, if there's 14 million people actually actively using it, that's impressive.
That is impressive.
And if it's just downloads or how many times it's been installed or something like that, I'm not sure if it's as impressive.
Yeah. I think it's activations. I believe it's activations, but don't hold me to it.
I mean, you know how these things work. They try to make the number look as good as possible.
And
what's funny is that they could not come out and do this 24 hours after Windows 8 was released.
No, there would have been no way. Listen, I went to a Windows 8
How long did
party.
it take us to get numbers for Windows 8?
Well, because they were minuscule compared to this.
They did not want to give up any sort of numbers when Windows 8 was launched.
So I went to a Windows 8 launch party with Paul. No, it was a Surface. Was it the Surface launch party? It might have been the Surface launch party.
I think it was Surface.
Yeah, but Windows 8 was coming around that time, no? No, it was a Windows. No, it was Windows 8. I did go to Surface, but I also went to a Windows 8, right? So Windows 8 launch, and they spent like $1 billion in advertising revenue, and it just so happened that my friend's company was the one of the PR firms that was doing, and the marketing firms that was doing the marketing. So she met up with me, and we're hanging out after the launch, after the party. And we're walking down to the train to Penn Station, and there's this giant digital billboard for Windows 8. And as we're walking, I see it, and the entire thing just gets jumbled up. It gets all pixelated. And I look at it and I go, well, if there was a sign pointing at the disaster that this is going to be, this is it. This is exactly what Windows 8 is, a giant disaster. I mean, it was so perfect. It was so perfect. I mean, it was great. So let's move on from Windows. Let's go to another story, John. Why don't you pick something?
So I think this is a very fascinating article. Comcast actually has more internet customers now than ever before. For the first time, albeit by a narrow margin of 22.55 million to 22.3 million, the cable giant has more high-speed internet customers than cable TV subscribers. This is according to their financial quarter two information that they just released. They actually lost more TV subscribers in the last quarter, albeit again by not much over the last quarter or so. But the fact that they actually have more internet customers than they do TV subscribers, that's an interesting stat right there.
Yeah. That is interesting, and that shows a trend that's happening right now.
It is. They just recently launched their stream service, which is they're sort of like their IPTV internet only TV service.
Have you used it?
I have not. I have no use for it.
I would.
It's a little too limited for me.
I wouldn't mind knowing what the quality is like on that, because a lot of these IPTV services that the cable brands are launching, like Fios has an IPTV, and you could tell that it's an IPTV service when you watch it.
And a lot of that I think is due to the bit rate that they're using to send stuff out, because normally cable TV, each channel is like 15 megabits per second. But when you're watching stuff online, 15 megabits per second, that's a lot of bandwidth.
That is a lot of bandwidth.
Support.
Yeah,
a lot of bandwidth. And you have to have a decent connection for that. And really, if you don't have, if it's under 10 megabits per second, you're going to notice quality issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
and
that's
even
why.
with Xfinity's own current online live TV offerings, if you just go to their Xfinity website and click on the live TV stuff and watch whatever they have there, they're only doing like 1.5 megabits per second, which I guess is fine if you're mobile, but if you're looking for high quality live TV, that ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't it whatsoever. And I'm somebody that wants quality looking television.
I'm wondering if just most people are just happy with it. Are they even using it? Like that's something that I'm curious about. Are people even considering using these services, these IPTV services that are offered?
I'm sure some people are.
Because if that's what you're looking for, why wouldn't you just be satisfied with Netflix and Hulu?
True.
And get an antenna for local programming.
But there are people that do want some live TV. I think we have a mix of expectations where some people, they don't care if it's live or not. But there's other people that, on occasion they want live TV.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I'm one of those people that on occasion I do want live TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, my problem with these services is that I want to be able to watch any cable channel.
Yeah.
That you can get a package for. Not just, a handful, 25 channels for whatever amount of money it is.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm strange like that.
So I have a bunch of questions here. This is a story from a couple days ago. Google retires the Google Plus requirement, and is starting with YouTube. So a few years ago, Google decided that you're going to need Google Plus to associate it to YouTube. Remember, John, you and I had this problem last couple of weeks ago when we had to create all these channels.
When we set up all the new YouTube channels for each show.
Yeah, and you know what?
You got to have a Google Plus channel.
Not anymore.
Thank God.
Yeah, so here's a new problem that I'm having, okay? So let's say people are commenting on a What the Tech video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see some of these comments.
They did acknowledge that there are bugs still in the system in the way that they're trying to demarry the two services.
I don't understand.
There are issues. If you're commenting as a Google Plus person, comments might not show up.
So So there are comments here, right? A couple comments. I see the comments on YouTube. I don't see the ones that were made by Google Plus users.
I could not tell you why, other than the fact that it could be a glitch in their system from decoupling the two services.
But other people do see it because they're replying to these other comments. So it's bizarre. I just don't see the comment.
I, for one, am freaking happy as a clam that Google Plus is not going to be tied into every single freaking Google service, period. It's just not necessary to do that. And it doesn't make sense with certain things such as YouTube. YouTube was such its own brand, and Google Plus was such a half-assed, confusing social network that Google didn't even really know how to execute and was poorly executed, that by tying Google Plus to all these extremely successful brands
Yeah.
such as YouTube, it just didn't work. And it's about time they started, removing Google Plus from services that work just fine on their own, like YouTube.
Yeah, it was fine before they fiddled around with it. To be honest, I actually do like Google Plus. I think it's a phenomenal resource.
That's fine on its own. It doesn't need to be a part of YouTube.
Yeah, listen,
it doesn't need to be completely tied into Google Plus Photos.
I don't post that much on Google Plus, and it's just another social network that you have to commit to. And I actually rarely post on Facebook, if people realize. I once in a while I'll make a post, but it's mostly Twitter that I use to make posts. I feel that it's a little bit easier to have like a quick thought rather than this long synopsis of what I'm thinking. I don't want to sit there and really articulate my thoughts to a 3-page paragraph. But but Google Plus is a great resource. If you go to the communities section, you could see some great sections here and great communities that you could kind of follow up. There's a great podcast section there. There's a studio section.
I've never gotten into any of the Google Plus
It's
stuff,
actually pretty
ever.
good. I'll tell you, it's a good resource for information. Other than that, I really don't find a need to post there. I do like it because it's useful, it's resourceful, but it's not going to be the Facebook. It's not going to be Twitter. I just feel that we have too many other resources. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Facebook. What are we going to do with Google Plus? I think Google Plus is more for the technical guy, the techie, the geeky guys, the nerdy guys. That's who's using Google Plus. I don't think the average person is using
There's
Google
a lot
Plus.
of issues with Google Plus, period. It's been one of those products from Google that has received extremely poor execution.
Yeah.
And thank goodness the latest people that are in charge of Google Plus realize this and are taking steps to exercise it from products like YouTube that it makes no sense in being a part of.
Latest Apple TV rumors, guys. Here it is again. Every couple months we get them. New box in September, but no TV service yet. They're having issues, I guess, getting these agreements in order, getting everything in order. But BuzzFeed, out of all places, which is bizarre, that it's BuzzFeed that's reporting this, because I can't imagine them doing a lot of tech reporting. To me, BuzzFeed is like 13 ways to know that you're a girl from the 90s. That's a BuzzFeed post for me. 15 ways to know you're born in Queens, New York. 17 ways to know that your boyfriend is gonna dump you. Like that's what BuzzFeed is to me. Which Sex and the City character are you? I'm Miranda. That's my definition of BuzzFeed.
Which one of your friends is the bossiest?
Yeah, which gossip girl are you? Like that's what it is. Like which character would you be from Veronica Mars? I didn't know that they report.
So then you're basically saying that there's no way this rumor could be true.
I'm not saying that. I don't know. The managing editor is the one who posted this. It's very much possible that he had a source in March this year. BuzzFeed told News. BuzzFeed News told you that Apple had a new TV coming out down the pipes, and it planned to unveil it in June at the Worldwide Developer Conference. 2 months later, they said the company to scrap the plan, delaying the device for a bit more time because they wanted to focus on other things and focus on the Apple Music streaming. Now, Apple heads towards its annual fall event. The successor to the set-top box possibly will be announced. This is just them. I think that this is just them assuming. Apple has not commented. This is just the same source that everybody else has had.
True.
Obviously, the rumor is that it's going to have it's going to be more polished after some tweaks. Expect a refresh and slimmer chassis. The Apple's A8 chipset will be inside, a new remote. It's going to have drastic improvements, but
which is not their newest CPU. Their newest CPU is the A9, isn't it?
The A9, yeah. Well, is it?
I think it's the A9 is their latest CPU.
So, yeah, I mean, the A8 would be good enough. It doesn't really... from what we have in there right now, which I think is an A4.
Yeah, it's because the stupid thing is like 5 years old.
Yeah. This is great news. Hope it comes. If it doesn't, who knows? This
Well,
is
if
like,
it doesn't come, it's the death nail for Apple TV,
but
because
is it?
it'll be so long since they've updated the hardware that anybody that's serious about a set-top box, they ain't gonna be looking at an Apple TV.
But you know what, John? Is it I don't think so, because guess what? I have a Fire TV. They're not updating crap either. Nexus does Nexus Play boxes. They're not doing crap. Roku is still the same Roku.
Google is a completely different story.
Roku's still the
'Cause
same
Google
Roku
doesn't
since
like
the
to
Roku 3.
update anything, especially their Nexus crap.
But when the Roku update, Roku hasn't updated in a while either.
They have.
Well, when? Roku 3?
They've come out with different hardware in the recent months.
Yeah, but it's still the same
They
Roku
released
3.
What was it? They released something, a new generation that is slightly different in terms of hardware. Slightly different, not a lot, but slightly different. So it is them doing something.
Yeah.
It's just more than what Apple is doing with the TV service.
To me, they've all kind of stepped back from this because they don't know how to generate revenue. That's the big problem. So why develop constantly if you're not going to really generate that much revenue? Fire TV has not really put out an update in a while.
Yes, they have.
When did they put out the last update?
They've put out several updates in the past few months.
Have they?
Some of the updates have added new features. There's like a new favorites thing or something like that, I think. I'd have to look exactly at the article to see what was new, but I know for a fact that there have been several updates in the last few months, some that have added new features, and the way they've changed the way that things are laid out as well.
I don't know if I got the update. Maybe I just haven't received the update.
You've probably received it. You probably just haven't really noticed it because it's more of a minor type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about major changes. Like major, like
Does Fire TV need to make major changes?
I'll tell you where they need to make the change. And this is my impression. I think it's a little confusing on what you can and can't watch. They need a new app store. Searching for apps is really convoluted, where you have to actually talk to it to search an application. You can't just go in the store and hit search and try to find applications. The sorting is really complicated. They need to follow more of a traditional sense.
I think you have some unreasonable expectations on how often things should be updated.
Well, I'm not talking about
if the main interface is updated, with a huge overhaul once every 2 or 3 years, I think that's fine.
I guess you're right. My
if
issue
you're
is,
expecting it to be updated every single year,
I want it every month, John. Every month, I want an update. I want them to work
I don't
day
think
and
that
night.
it needs to be updated every single year.
I'm at this website. There are custom ROMs for this. Pre-rooted stock ROM, and then people are making custom ROMs for this. So
Yeah.
I mean, listen, personally, I'm a fan of the app, the Fire TV, because
I love the Fire TV.
I've side-loaded applications. I'm able to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling on this thing. There's no New Japan app, but I'm able to kind of side-load. Somebody made something that works on it. It just, you can hack it. You can modify it to kind of work your way because it's Android at the end of the day. But if I want to search for an app, how do I search for an app? That's the only thing that I really don't get.
Apple TV can't do that though either.
Yeah, but Apple TV doesn't have an app store.
No, they don't.
But Fire does.
They've made some inroads, and I think that is something that they are working on. And with a future update, is that they will have a full-blown app store on there, and there are certain ways to get applications now from the Fire TV, but it's not a full-blown app store.
No, it's not. So, again, these are things that are going to be coming, but I don't think they're all missing something, right? Like Apple TV, in my opinion,
it's nobody has really figured out exactly what to do with these set-top boxes.
I think Apple TV still is you have the most options. You have all these apps. You have the ABC app, NBC app, Fox Now, FX, HBO, Showtime. So all these applications
they've
are
been around
there.
longer than most people.
Yeah, and they have the deal. So that's the thing that's keeping them.
Apple TV was one of the first set-top boxes that you could get long before, the Fire TV.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious. I'm hoping for a new Apple TV because I need one for my living room. That's the only reason why. Because I think it's slow and it sucks and it's old. Anything else, John? Or are we good?
I really want to get your opinion on
Yeah.
this story about Amazon wanting to build drive-up grocery stores.
Yeah, I love
Silicon
this.
Valley Business Journal understands that Amazon is working on a drive-up grocery store in Sunnyvale, California. It would rely solely on internet orders. You would schedule a pickup instead of wandering aisles. Think of it as an Amazon Fresh Depot that could save you the shipping costs while adapting to your schedule. Amazon isn't commenting on the project just yet, and it's not clear just how many of these stores would pop up.
A drive up. I think Amazon.
Because you're one of these people that's somewhat of an agoraphobe, doesn't really like going out for much, does a lot of your stuff ordering off of Amazon.
I do.
You are one of these people that orders stuff, groceries, and food off of Amazon.
I would love to order food on Amazon. You know, let me tell you, living in New York, where I am in New York, I'm still kind of in the suburbs. I'm not in Manhattan, but think about people, Manhattanites, right? A lot of them don't have cars, so when they do food shopping, when they go to the grocery store, they have to buy whatever they could carry. A delivery service works great.
No, this is
for
not
them.
a delivery service.
Well, Amazon wants to get into the delivery service also when it comes to groceries.
Yes.
So I think this is their way of
That's
kind of
old
testing
news.
it. Yeah, this is their way of kind of testing this new way of doing it. I would love a pop-up like this. I would love it.
So would you actually drive to a store and just pick up your stuff?
Yeah, I would. I think it's awesome. Listen, more options the better for them. They need to figure out a way to kind of compete with all these major brands. You know, Walmart is now going to be doing free shipping, and Newegg is going to be doing free shipping. All these guys are now catching up to Amazon's Prime service, which, in my opinion, is the reason why Amazon is so successful.
I don't
right
know
now.
that you. I don't know that you necessarily need to do Prime shipping for stuff. Discounted shipping, low cost shipping is fine, but to be honest, the 2-day shipping part, Amazon and pretty much anybody can do 2-day shipping at this point.
I want next day. That's the thing. They're doing next day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
if you do next day, that's completely different. But
yeah.
the way that these companies have their warehouses set up, they're within 2 days of UPS or FedEx from wherever they want to ship to.
Yeah.
3 at most.
I mean, the fact that you could, I always do next day, because I'll pay the $3.99 because I don't want to wait. There's nobody else that'll offer that, really. You know what? Jessica ordered something the other day. It's from a smaller retailer, and they had, the shipping cost was like $12.80 for something that cost $20 to get it in 2 days.
Mono prices like that.
And I'm thinking, yeah, mono prices like that also. And I'm thinking, why?
Yeah.
You know,
Our expectations when it comes to the cost of shipping is absolutely insane.
Best Buy
If you want
sucks
to
with
ship
that.
anything yourself, it's insane because you're not a large company like Walmart or Amazon where you can get these incredible bulk discounts.
Yeah. So but you know what though? I'll tell you, Best Buy does not have a good shipping deal.
The blanket that I ordered, it was $15 for this blanket that I bought. $15 to have it shipped.
$15.
Yes.
From what country did you order this blanket from?
Maryland.
The country of faraway Maryland.
It cost me $15 for this 11-pound blanket.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's nuts.
But
that's
I've found
why
that
Amazon's
that's
kicking
very
ass.
similar. If you want to ship anything, I shipped you stuff the other day.
You did. You
and
did?
it was like
Yeah.
$10.
What did you ship?
To send
me?
that stuff to you.
Oh yeah. Last month, yeah. Which I love.
I'm like, are you kidding me? $10 for something that's this small and this light?
Yeah, it's. I don't know. All right, John.
By the way, did you see that they have these new Bluetooth buttons or Wi-Fi buttons to order stuff off of Amazon?
I did. I still don't understand it. Can you explain what it is?
They're basically these wireless buttons with a sticky back thing that you stick wherever it is that you want to put them. Say you get the Tide Dash button or whatever. You stick it right next to your laundry machine so that every time that you run out, you just press the button on it. It'll communicate with the application on your phone and automatically order that.
But why can't you just order it on your phone?
Because that's too many steps.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They wanted to make it as convenient as possible. If you run out, you just press a button, and Amazon will automatically order it for you.
It's compulsive. They want you to do a compulsive buy, and not think.
Well, sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. All right, John.
Why didn't you think of this?
I don't know. I'm not as smart as they are. I'll tell you. That's the problem. All right, guys, time to wrap it up. Hey, if you want to support the GFQ Network and you want to help us out and you want to throw a couple bucks at us, of course you could, or a couple of pennies. You could fund us at patreon.com/whatthetech, even though it's for What the Tech is for all of us.
You could even do nickels and dimes.
I know, you could do nickels and dimes. Patreon.com/whatthetech. Also, if you don't want to give us any money and you still want to help us out, use our Amazon link, guys. Every time you make a purchase, we get a small, tiny percentage of the sale, and it really helps us out. Every time we need to do updates here at the studio. This camera right here is starting to go. The HDMI port on this thing is getting a little busted, so I need a new camera. Buy stuff on Amazon, and I get these credits, and I cash those in, and I buy stuff on Amazon. It's gfq.co/Amazon. That's gfq.co/Amazon. Bookmark it. And whenever you buy something on Amazon, use that link. You can follow John on Twitter.
What we need is a GFQ dash button.
We need a GFQ dash button. Every time you press that, we get credit from your purchase. That's a brilliant idea. Suncast on Twitter for John. I'm at Andrew Zarian. Of course, you can subscribe to this podcast everywhere podcasts are available. We have an audio podcast and an HD version of it. And that's it, guys. I will be in Los Angeles next week. I don't know if I will be doing a show. There's a good chance I will not be doing a show if I do not set up the new studio at GFQ LA. Our LA studio. John, we're going to have to work hard on Thursday night, me and you.
I won't be here.
Where are you going to be?
I don't know. I'm just not going to be here.
All right, guys. That's it for this week. See you all next week. Have a great weekend.